Welcome to Coding Detectives 2 flashcard time. Are you ready? Are you in a nice calm spot to use your big voice? Here we go. I. Yup, I-E. A. L. You, ooh. A. R. And or and O. And the t. Ooh. Ooh. A. Ooh, what about this one? Ooh. Whir. Can you all say it with me? Whir. I. Ing. Last one. Good job. Let's go start our Grammar Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, Super Scholars, and welcome to Grammar to start off our lovely midday of the week. So we're going to keep it going with our important suffix skills. They're tricky, but they're so important. But before we get started, we have to warm up our decoding brain. So all of our speed decoding today have our R-controlled vowels in them. We're going to be flipping back and forth between the different sounds, so it's going to be up to you and your decoding skills to figure out how we can read these words. So let's see. What's our vowel? O-R. Take a look. If it's teamed up with W, O-R will say what sound? Remember, O-R with W says So this says word. Word. Make sure you're saying word. Awesome. What about this? What's our vowel? O-R. Is O-R with a W? No, so O-R says what sound? Or. So this is fork. A fork. And what about this one? E-R. It says what sound? That one stays the same. So what's the word? River. The river. What about this friend? What's the vowel? A-R. And A-R is not at the end. There's no other vowel with it. So A-R is going to say what sound? R. It's pirate sound. So read the word. Smart. Smart. And last one. Ooh, what's the three-letter vowel? Can you name the three-letter vowel? E-A-R. And all three of these letters say what sound? So the word is earn. Earn. Good job. There's only two sounds there. Okay, we've warmed up our brains. Let's check out our learning target for grammar. It says, I can add the suffix ER or to show comparison. So today, like I mentioned, we are still sticking with suffixes, but we're talking about ER and EST with an adjective. So far in second grade, we've only been adding suffixes to verbs with ing, ed, and er yesterday. But today, we're talking about what happens when we add a suffix to an adjective. So, these two suffixes, like I said, go with adjectives. And we're always going to add them at the end, because that's what a suffix is. It goes at the end of a word. And in the learning target, we kind of previewed this, that these two suffixes are added to an adjective to show comparison. That's a big word. Can you read it with me? Comparison. One more time. Comparison. Comparison. That's when we're trying to talk about two objects and discuss whether they're similar or different. You're comparing them. Are they both small? Is one bigger than the other? We're comparing them to each other to talk about how they're similar or different. And that's where these two suffixes can help us when we're using adjectives. But what's the difference between these two suffixes? So let's see. We've got ER and EST. If we want to use the adjective, let's say nice. You are nice. Person number one is nice. Nice describes them with an adjective. So person number one is nice. But what if we're talking about person number two? And they're just a little more nice. They're a little more nice than person number one. So person number two is nicer. They're nicer. They're just a little more nice. That's how we can compare them. Nice to nicer. But what about person number three? Person number three is the most nice. The most nice of them all. No one else is better. So if we want to say person number three is the most nice, we would say they're nicest. They're nicest. Nice, nicer, nicest. It's three little hops in a row that's showing comparison between objects using adjectives. If we want to talk about how something's a little bit more, we add ER. If we want to describe that something is the most of that description, we add EST to the adjective. So this is the meaning of these tiny little parts of a word. Let's check out some examples in writing. Here we go. So this word, grand. Can you repeat after me? Grand. Something's grand. It's big, it's fabulous, it's fancy, it's wonderful, it's grand. But we have a string of adjectives that are comparing. They don't all mean exactly the same thing. So if one object is grand, but another is a little bit more grand, it is grander. What suffix did we add? ER. It's grander, just a little bit more. But if another object is the most grand, the most of them all, it's grandest. What suffix did we add? EST. It's grandest, to be the most grand. So in order to describe and compare things in order of how grand they are, we need to add ER first and then EST. You can't switch the order because those suffixes have specific meanings. And of course, just like how we've been practicing that there's 3 different ways to add a suffix to a verb, those exact same rules apply when we're adding a suffix to an adjective. So we have 3 different examples that all show us the 3 different ways how we add a suffix. And it all depends on what's at the end of the base word. So let's take a look. What's at the end of grand? What's at the end of grand? What kind of letters are N and D? What kind of letters are those? They're both consonants. They're both consonants. And we talked about yesterday, if a base word ends in two consonants or two vowels, we can just add the ending. Because look what happened. We just tacked on ER and we just tacked on EST without changing our base word at all. And that's all because grand ended in two consonants. But that can also happen if there's two vowels. So can you repeat that rule after me one more time? Repeat after me. When a base word ends in two consonants or two vowels, we add the ending. That's it, our simplest rule. But it doesn't end there. What about this set? Our base word is little. Repeat after me. Little. If an object's little, but we want to say it's more little, what suffix are we going to add? ER. So this object is now littler. It's littler. But if we want to say another object is the most little of them all, what suffix are we going to add? EST. So the word becomes little est. Little est. But in order to add these suffixes to the adjective to show comparison, we had to follow another one of our rules. So check out our base word. What do you notice about this base word? What does it end in? It ends in an E. And what happens if a base word ends in E? We have to drop that E before we can add our suffix. Because see, there's no two E's. Our E in each of these words comes from the suffix only and not the base word. So can you repeat that rule with me? Repeat after me. When a base word ends in E, we drop the E to add the ending. Good job. Okay, we've got two rules. What about our third one? Let's take a look. Our base word is hot. That's an adjective. But if we want to say an object is more hot, what suffix are we adding? ER, so the word is hotter. But that next object is the most hot of them all. So our suffix is EST, and we describe the object as, it is hottest, the most hottest. But how must we add this suffix to this adjective? Our clue comes at the end of the word. So if I'm looking at hot, and I look at these last two letters, what do I notice? What do I notice? What kind of letters are these? We've got a vowel and a consonant. O is a vowel and T is a consonant. Do you remember? If a base word ends in one vowel and one consonant, what do we have to do? We have to double that consonant. Take a look. We have two T's in hotter and two T's in hottest. When a base word ends with that vowel and the consonant, that is our clue of how to add the suffix. Okay, Can you repeat after me? Our last clue. Here we go. When a base word ends in one vowel and one consonant, we double the consonant to add the ending. Awesome, that is it. Okay, it's so awesome that we get to practice these rules with different suffixes because these are really tricky but important for our spelling and reading. So, before we get our Super Kids workbook out to practice, what are we going to do next? We are going to move our bodies for this or that, of course, before we get our workbooks. So, stand up, push that chair nice and in so you don't trip. So, this or that. Would you rather make a snowman? If so, you're going to do 5 crisscross jumps. Or would you rather make a snow angel? If so, you're going to do 1-foot hops. Just got to make a choice. Would you rather make a snowman or a snow angel? What would you prefer? I love snow angels, so I'm going to do 5 1-foot hops. Are you ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is it. Good job. Come on, sit right back down as we get out our Super Kids workbook. And you are finding page 57. Page 57. We've got all these cute little pictures on it. Awesome. Right next to your cupcake page, page 57. Okay, awesome people. On this page, we are going to be comparing all the images to each other by adding our suffixes, ER and EST. In order to add the suffix correctly, we have to look at our base word that's going to tell us what rule we need to follow. So, I'm going to get out my lovely blue pen, and we're going to look at question number 1. So, what is our base word? Can you trace it? What is our base adjective? Big. This elephant is big. But before we try to compare it, let's figure out how we would add the suffix first. So can we take a look at big? What do you see at the end of big? What kind of letters are here? I see an I and a G. What does that tell us? You've got a vowel and a consonant. So in order to add the suffix, we're going to need to double this consonant, our G, before we can add any suffix. So keep that in mind. We've got big. This elephant is big. But this elephant is just a little more big. So what suffix are we going to add? ER. So this elephant is big-er. The elephant is big-er. So let's write out our word, remembering the rule that we discovered. So if this elephant is bigger, writing my base word, I know I have to double my consonant before I add my suffix er. Big-er. Good job. So we have big, bigger, and this elephant is the most big. So it is big, big-est, E-S-T, est. So let's go ahead and write big-est following our same rule. Here we go. Big, my base word, to double my consonant before I can add E-S-T. Big-est. Awesome job. Big, bigger, biggest. Okay, let's look at number 2. Can we look at number 2? What's our base word? Can you trace it in? What's our base word? This says what? Fast. Something is super fast. So before we can start comparing these images, we want to figure out how we would add our suffix. So let's look at the word fast. Can we just take a quick look at the end of the word? What kind of letters are S and T that we see? S and T are what kind of letters? They're both consonants. They're not vowels. So remember, if a base word ends in two consonants or two vowels, what do we get to do? We just get to add the ending. That's it. So this is a pretty simple one. So if this bike is fast, a car is a little more fast. So a car is faster. A car is faster. So let's go ahead and write that in. We know we can just write our base word and just quickly tack on our suffix ER. Faster. Good job. Okay, but this plane is the most fast of them all. So we've got fast, faster. The plane is fastest, the most fastest, E-S-T. And we know all we need to do is add it on. So here we go. Fast, and then E-S-T, est. Fast-est. Good job. Okay, we're going to do one more all together, number 3 down here. So we're back over here. What's our base word? Can you trace it? This says wide. Wide. Because look, we've got vowel consonant E. I, wide. Okay, before we start comparing, if I'm looking at wide, what does this word tell me about how I'm going to add my suffix? What do I see? I see an E. What does an E tell me? What do I need to do? I have to drop that E before I can add any suffix. So, let's see how this works. If this chair is wide, but this chair is a little more wide, so it's wide, it's wide-er. And when we write this out, we gotta make sure we drop the E of the base word. Here we go. So wide without the E, and then I'm gonna add the suffix ER, so it becomes wide-er. Awesome, but there's one more. Wide, wider, but this couch is the most wide, so it's wide, wide-est, E-S-T, wide-est, the most. So can we write it in? Dropping our E, here we go. Wide, no E, and then the ending, est, wide-est. Woo! Would you look at that? We did an awesome job adding our suffixes to our adjectives using our same important 3 rules. Okay, awesome people. All you have to do to finish this page is do number 4. There's just one left on page 4. When you're done completing this page and comparing the objects on page 4, then all you need to do is take a video of yourself reading this page. I want you to read the adjectives so you can practice these adjectives in comparison and reading with our suffixes ER and EST. So after you're done completing 4, you're going to take a video where I can see you reading this entire page with each set of adjectives and the suffixes that we added together to spell. So awesome, people. Great job working on grammar. solidifying these super awesome skills in our brain. So let's get finishing and